Hello, my beautiful Life Path 7 people. Welcome to your 2024 Numerology Tarot forecast with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to say a massive thank you so much to all of you who support my work throughout who supported my work throughout 2023. Sorry about the mic. Who supported my work throughout 2023, who come back every month, every 3 months, every 6 months to let me know how it's gone, how these line up for you. I love those validations and I really love the comments. I really love interacting with and seeing you guys in those comments as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So without further ado, let's get into how 2024, a universal 8 year, is going to be showing up for you as a Life Path 7. So being somewhat more detached and somewhat kind of withdrawn and needing plenty of alone time is usually your way. This year, however, you might find that your desire and your need for tribe, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word of tribe, right? It might be much greater this year. You might have a desire to nest or to at least create a sanctuary of some kind. And this might also be a year where you get a pet or you desire to take on sort of more voluntary responsibility for others in some way, shape or form. Now, when it comes to love, this year you might be very focused on love and relationships just in general, the health of your relationships, your desire for a relationship. So if you're partnered this year, you might be considering what the next step looks like for you and your significant other, and maybe how it is that you guys get to that next level. This is the year where effectively you're kind of popping the hood on the relationship to see, you know, how it's going and what's kind of involved in tuning it up, as it were. If you're single, this year really is about caring for yourself on a really deep soul level and being honest about what you need to feel safe and secure, and also what kind of partner you need in order to feel that sense of security and safety. Now, it is worth noting, you know me, we love the woo-woo, but we keep our feet on the ground, right? So if you are a more whole and complete person and you care for and nourish and nurture yourself, when you get into a relationship, you're already whole. You're not looking for anything or anyone else to validate you or fill you up from the outside. When two people that have done that kind of internal work get together, that's when real relationships, real partnerships absolutely forge, and ones that possibly last a lifetime. This is possibly a year where you could be thinking about settling down, or you may settle down, depending on your personal year, right? Like if you're in a personal year 7 as well as like a you know, being a Life Path 7, and you know, it might not necessarily show up for you that way. Now, in terms of your finances, it's likely that the expenditure that really hits your wallet this year is likely to come from the home, from your home, your hearth space, like where you live, making it more beautiful, more comfortable, more livable. And since you spend a lot of time at home in your solitary castle, it's really worth making sure that you spend that money on the home, right? This will be where you really kind of feel that desire and that drive to create a space that feels like it is a sanctuary to you. It's an important year for that, right? In general, like for you personally. It's also likely to be that finances and resources flow out on other people's behalfs, right? So you're expected to, in some way, shape or form, foot the bill. So make sure you've got savings on hand, or maybe even this year, that might be one of the things that you can put in place. Now, work is, you know, this year you might find that the work that you're doing is a little bit thankless. It's a year where being a team player is absolutely what you're being asked to do, and to show up as a really sort of solid participant within the group. So I gotta be honest, you know, as a Life Path 7, this year might be a little bit more, not tiresome, but it might demand a lot more energy from you. And the reason I say that is because you tend to pull away, like you need that alone time, you need that sort of space on your own, right? Whereas this year is kind of saying that what's required of you is the opposite. You've got to be a team player, you've got to be a part of the group. You are naturally attuned to listening to people and helping them find, you know, solutions. But this year you're like the agony uncle, the agony aunt, right? You're going to need to find ways to support the group whilst maintaining your own needs in some regard. And then finally, when it comes to your health, This year you kind of have to go against your nature, right? It's about being asked for, about asking for help, right? It's about seeking support, maintaining a good, healthy lifestyle. There's no quick fixes here, right? Or clever workaround. And, you know, if there's one to be found in Life Past 7, we'll research the shit out of it. Right? So, of which you guys are the masters. This is a year where you just have to show up, drink your water, eat your fruit, get your rest, right? This is a year that you look after your body by loving the way you by loving it the way that you love other people. So this means getting therapy for your, stuff, and doing for your body everything that you would do if you were a parent for your child. You got to parent yourself, you got to nourish yourself. This is the year for it. All right. With that said, stay tuned while we get into your month by month tarot breakdown to see what's coming up over the course of 2024 for you. With that said, take care and I'll see you in a moment. Hello, my beautiful Life Past 7 person. Let's get into your 12 month by month tarot breakdown. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's see what this year has in store for you, shall we? All right, so for your so your first card, you're going to get one destiny card, one direction card per month of the year. You know how this works by now. So your first card out, it kind of typifies the year that you're going to have, right? It shows you the kind of energies, trends and themes that you're going to be working with over the course of the year. And obviously it speaks to the month itself, but your first card out is an important one. All right, so for this, you have the Empress, right? Beautiful. This is going to be a year of growth. It's going to be a year of change, I will add. And given the fact that this is an 8-year, it looks like you're already tapping into that growthful energy, which is fantastic. The Empress is about abundance, pleasure, joy. It's really about having and being connected to the sensual experience. This might be a year where you're exploring a lot more hospitality, where you're really starting to delve into the enjoyment and the pleasure of life in some way, shape or form. So this is great. Now, in order to clarify this, let's have a look. So also worth noting, on the 2nd of January, or should I say, we start the year with a Mercury retrograde, but I know, you're probably groaning, but it goes direct on the 2nd of January, right? So last year we started the year with a Mercury retrograde and a Mars retrograde. So it was a really slow, heavy start to the year, but this year we don't have that. Mercury literally goes direct on the second day of the year. And what that means is, yes, we have the post-retrograde shadow, but it's not going to be anywhere near as heavy a start to the year as we had previously. That being said, you have the Hermit card to clarify. So this is a lot of Earth, right? Because the Empress has Taurus energy, the Hermit has Virgo energy, and this looks like you are pulling away. For some of you, this could be that you're having a little bit of work done in secret without anybody knowing. Maybe you're going on one of those, what do they call them? Cosmetic tourism trips, right? So you go away, you get a sneaky little something done, little nip tuck here and there, and then you come back like bam, oh if you know, then you know. Right, so that could be wonderful. Another way this potentially works out though is a lot of you are really focused in January on getting the most out of what you have available to you, and this could be where a lot of you are really starting to understand your need, as is a Life Path 7, right, to pull away from the world, but also to start developing your own intuitive faculties. When the Hermit shows up, the High Priestess has a message for you. So this could be a year where you start to really develop your own intuition or your own intuitive skills. Now, it's also worth mentioning that on the 21st of January, Pluto comes back into the sign of Aquarius. This is a big deal. It's going to dip back out later on in the year and then come back in full time from November. So again, right, we're getting another little taster to, I see these as kind of like what we've had so far with the Pluto energies, inoculations against whatever it is that's going to come up over the course of the next 20 years. Now, that being said, I'm going to be talking about a fair few astrological transits in these, as I always do. If you want to get your year ahead for your astrological sign, for your sun, moon, or ascendant, you can do that on the link in the description box below. They are $7.99 a piece this year. You can get the bundle for $49.99, which, you know, is pretty much a bloody bargain considering how much time, effort, and energy I put into them. And also, they make great Christmas presents. And as if that wasn't enough, I've smoothed the process this year so that you can actually purchase your sun, moon, and ascendant sign really easily. You just get them as upsells. All right, so thank you for allowing me to sell you things from time to time. This is, after all, how I do my business. For February, you have the Magician card. Boom! Get in for this, right? So February, you're coming into not only your personal power, but I actually feel like this is where you truly emerge. So your year in January is starting not slower, but it is starting a little bit more behind the scenes. You are formulating plots, ideas, plans. There's something here about you really fixing the structure of things, but you're taking it easy and taking it smooth. And then February, it's like you launch something out into the world, or you start to share something. You're starting to really kind of get something out there. Now, if you saw the overview I talked about this year, you don't have that luxury of being hidden like you like to be. You've got to be out there. You've got to be an active participant in the world this year. Now, the challenge months of this year for everybody, January, April, May and July look to be the shaky ones. Now, for on top of February's energy, you have the Knight of Swords. So this is potentially a lot of you. So February is going to be a month where a lot of you are commuting a lot. There's a lot of sort of local travel taking place. This could be that you're doing public speaking events. It could be that you're connecting to people more in your local area. It does look like there's a lot of interviews, a lot of conversations that are taking place. This is also probably going to be a month where there is so much communication going backwards and forwards. This might be more communication than you did the whole of the year before. You might be thinking to yourself like, wow, you know, 2023, I basically spoke to like 5 people, and now here in February, I am just everywhere, right? I've got to be talking to everyone and anyone. Watch out for challenges or issues with a boss or an authority figure. The Knight of Swords tends to carry an energy of challenge, fast, aggressive communication. With the Magician card, this could be with a powerful person in your life or in your world on a professional level. Now, that being said, as we come into March, we've got the first eclipse of the year. It is a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Now, think back to October 14th, 2023. What was starting for you? What were you setting into motion? What was really the theme that was starting to come to being, or to making itself known? Because the chances are this is going to be giving its fruits or wrapping up around this time. For this, you have the High Priestess. So something that's been hidden is likely to be revealed at this time. It is, after all, a full moon lunar eclipse. So at this point, there's some information that comes to light. Something is shared with you. You see something differently, maybe someone differently. And at that point, you're kind of like, right, okay, now I sort of really understand where this might be going. For this, you have the Star card. That is very interesting, right? So for a lot of you, this could be an invite to a broadcast of some sort. This could be, it's probably going to be something like a podcast or a radio show, because the High Priestess has a hidden element to it, right? And the Star card is all things technological. It's broadcasting, TV, radio, film, YouTube even. But because you've got this with the High Priestess, this is probably not going to be something that requires a screen. So you could be starting a podcast, you could be invited to a podcast, you could be doing something where you are giving knowledge and information or sharing something, but you're doing it behind, you know, you're not necessarily seen, as it were. I find this really interesting, to be honest. I really do. Now, another way that this could potentially show up is some kind of future plan or some kind of goal or dream or desire of yours you are working on very much behind the scenes. This could have something to do with technology. It could have something to do with the world of the internet. which is also, in a way, yes, it's very much in your face, but it is a hidden world. You know, in comment sections and stuff, unless you've got your picture there, we pretty much all do this stuff kind of behind a keyboard, behind a screen, right? Not necessarily in front of it, unless, of course, you're like me. Excuse me. Finally, the last thing that I want to mention with this, the star card is a glimpse into the future. The High Priestess, right? So whatever intuitive development and faculties you're working on in January, they start to come good in March. But what's really evident here is because the High Priestess represents your intuition, you could be having a powerful vision. You could have a vision, a dream, a psychic impression, something that really you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And it could be one of those moments that blows your intuition wide open. But it could just as easily, sorry, I had to turn the heater off. It's very warm in here now. You know, it could be something that blows your intuition wide open. So, excuse me, April is a packed astrological month. On the 2nd of April, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Aries, right the way through to the 25th of the month. As if that wasn't enough, on the 8th of April, we've got a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. And as if that wasn't enough, we have the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus coming together in the sign of Taurus as a conjunction. This is a once in 14-year transit. If you want to find out how this speaks to you and your sign, you can get those on the link in the description box below. $7.99 a piece, man. Come on. It's like I say, if you're only going to watch one, make sure it's for your ascendant. It's going to be the most accurate for you. For this, you have the Hierophant card. So check in the structures and the established energies and, you know, laws of rule in your life is going to be one way to look at this. On a personal level, this is very much how you do the everyday. It's also your routines, rituals, your habits. The Hierophant is also, in terms of like your local area, this is your local authority. So councils, town halls, all of that kind of stuff. This could be where you're interacting with a larger body or institution. And you've got this with the Two of Swords. So I am going to be 100 with you. The Two of Swords can show up as an opposition. And it can show up where sometimes we are either looking for, require, or demand justice. This with the Hierophant card, this could be you going up against a larger institution. You could be taking someone to court. You could be suing someone. You know, you might meet some kind of red tape or bureaucracy that you can't really get around or over. And that Two of Swords, it's kind of like you're just having to go with it for now, but to work it out. The Two of Swords falls very close here to that High Priestess, and that is psychic energy. So pay attention to your hunches and your nudges in both March and April. And then finally, on the wider world stage, this is going to be like April has shown up consistently for this signature as well. Something's happening with a monarch, a head of a company, but like a really well-known one. Some kind of, you know, power player in an establishment of some sort. There's going to be the changing of hands, the changing of guards, or some kind of information that comes to light that has people saying, no, we don't continue this way. Can't wait to see what it is. For May, we have Jupiter, Lord of Growth, Expansion, Abundance, Levity, Happiness, Joy, the future, law. You know, gosh, Jupiter rules so many things, but people in high places as well. Moving out of the sign of Taurus, where it's inflated all of our, you know, the price of basically everything that we need. And it is coming into it's coming into the sign of Gemini, which is all about communication. It's all about facts and information. It's all about education and skills. This is going to be an expansion and an explosion of those things. Now, this is a once in 12-year transit. So again, if you want to find out how this speaks to you, your sun, your moon, or your ascendant, you know what to do. For this, you have the Hermit card. So you've got a double hit of the Hermit, and they come up right next to each other. So May is going to be one of those months where you are really taking stock of everything that's happening or everything that's taking place around you. It might also be where you're starting to really think about where it is that you need to take more time away to listen to your own voice as opposed to somebody else's. This is a moment to be really honest and clear with yourself about what you want, about what you need, and where you feel like you're going from here. And more importantly, not to be influenced by anybody else and their thoughts and their opinions. No matter what's happening on the wider world stage, no matter what the people closest to you say, this is about really listening to your own inner guidance at this point. For this, you have the Lovers card, right? So I actually really like that because it means that you are making a choice, right? So I talked all about this. You're making a choice, but that choice that you're making, it's the answer is coming from within. You're not outsourcing. You're not, you know, like this is a, I'm going to go to ground. I'm going to quiet myself, I'm going to still myself, and I'm going to make a decision based on what's right for me. And this is a moment of real sort of, and when I say this, I don't mean it in the negative way that this word has picked up, but this is you making a choice in a really selfish way or in a self-focused way. And I love this for you. Now, that's because the Lovers card is choice. What's really interesting is the Lovers card is Gemini ruled, and the Hermit card is Mercury ruled, Virgo. Both of these energies are ruled by Mercury. Pay attention to what's happening around Mercury at this time in your own chart. For June, you have the Temperance card. So this is where actually you're starting to really balance things out. And potentially for a lot of you, it might be a time where you're starting to really think to yourself about the spaces in which you are either aligned with what you want or not, as the case might be. So this might be where you do say to yourself, actually, you know what, everything in my world or everything at the moment is completely out of whack. It's completely out of balance. So you start going about making it so. The other thing with the Temperance card, it has a very remedial element to it. So what usually shows up with the Temperance card is you find out what the elements are that are missing or what the elements are that are out of that balance that we're talking about. To clarify on that, you have the Fool card. New things, new places, new people, new energies are making themselves known to you, but also new avenues for healing, right? The other thing with the Temperance card, because it's Sagittarius ruled, it can represent where you are taking on knowledge, information, or wisdom that is actually very healing to you in some way, shape, or form. Now, we can go back to the month of April and think back to this, because the Hierophant card is what I call Temperance is what I call the Hierophant set free. And so this tells me that whatever's happening in April will likely be concluding, or you'll be taking it in a very new direction come June. All right, so there's a link between these 2 months for you. The other thing with the Fool card, be careful about being sucked, because the Temperance card can be sometimes piggy in the middle energy. So be careful about allowing yourself to be sucked into things that really have nothing to do with you, right? Let other people sort out their own mess. In July, you have the Death card, right? Endings, completions, culminations. This is probably where you are choosing to close down an avenue of some sort. And you've got this with the Seven of Swords, right? If March is going to see something, some piece of information revealed to you, July is going to see the end of a lie, right? Now, there's a few ways this can show up. This is, maybe this is a lie or a story or a narrative that you've told yourself for years. I'm too old to go back to school. I am too fat to go to the gym. I am too, whatever the case might be, right? Wherever you've told yourself a lie that is stopping you from achieving something that you really feel you want to do in your heart of hearts. This is the silencing of that lie. It could come through a conversation with a friend. It could come through, you know, I would say actually it might come through a coach or a therapist actually, because these cards fall so close to that Temperance energy and the Fool. So this is someone that comes into your life that kind of says to you like, where the fuck did you get that bullshit from? Like, that's rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like, get a grip. Like, that's not true. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. Just the other day actually, I saw a picture online. It wasn't really a meme because it wasn't funny, but I saw a picture of, there was a guy who was 87 who graduated with his degree, and him and his mother, who was like 100 and whatever, they were celebrating him getting that degree together. It's so crazy, right? Like, I was just gobsmacked by that, because it shows we tell ourselves all these stories about it's too late to do this or it's too late to do that. It's a load of bollocks. And I think this is what you're starting to realize here in July. The other part of this, obviously, as well, this could be that you discover a lie and it comes to an end. Now, even though it's not the Tower, it is kind of, it's the Death card with the Seven of Swords. Whatever lie comes forward at this time, it could be a bit of a ground shaker, I'm sorry to say. Now, as we come into August, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Leo. This happens from the 4th of August right through to the 29th. So basically the whole month, Mercury is going to be retrograde in August, okay? Just keep that as a consideration. You've got the Star card. So you get another glimpse into the future. This is interesting to me because Leo is the sign of celebrity. It's the sign of kings, queens, the glitterati, all of the famous people. And you've got the Star card, which represents television, film, TV, broadcasting, radio, all of that kind of stuff. So again, whatever's happening in March or whatever you're invited to in March, you clearly make an impression because you're getting another invite here in August, potentially. Now, you've got this with the Death card. Okay. So there's no getting around this. You got a double hit of the Death card, which does mean that there is potentially going to be, and I'm really sorry to say this, I touch wood, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but there is one consideration that comes from this. The Star card doesn't represent old people. I'm sorry to say, the Star card tends to represent younger people, anywhere from sort of, let's say 17 to 21, 22. It's that kind of bracket. With a double hit of the Death card, that's possible. Now, another way that this potentially shows up, because it's a double hit of the Death card, you've got the Seven of Swords and you've also got the Star card. This could be, and it's under, all this is happening under a Mercury retrograde as well. This could be details of a death that happened, details of a celebrity death. My money is on two people. Heath Ledger, there could be new information that comes to light about the way that he died, etc., or who may or may not have had a hand in it. And the other one is Jill Dando in the UK. For those of you that are, born and bred in the UK, you'll know who I'm talking about. Recently, they opened up, they filmed a Netflix inquiry about it. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up. But this could be information that comes to light around a celebrity death where we're all kind of like, whoa, like nobody ever suspected that all this was going on behind the scenes. Now, that being said, on a more personal level, this, I say it could be an invite back to a podcast. For others of you, again, this could be some kind of future plan, goal, or idea that you say, you know what, I'm changing track. And that's what I have to say with the Hermit and the Empress there in January. You are rethinking a lot of everything this year. There's going to be a lot of pivot points. That's what it looks like to me. There's a lot of change in the air for you guys this year. And I think a part of that is because you're having to go against your own nature. Most of the time you want it quiet. You want to be behind closed doors. You want to be hidden. You want to, sit in your library and just kind of do you. This year, it kind of looks like you don't really have that option. And if you try to force it, you're going to be forced out into the world anyway. So as we come into September, we have the first eclipse in the sign of Pisces. This is a big deal. On the 18th of September, we've got the first full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. Now, this is a big deal because it ushers in that next cycle of eclipses between Pisces and Virgo. And it's going to highlight that. And this is an extra special one because it's a full moon lunar eclipse, but it's on the North Node, which for me feels like it's highlighting what this next 18 months is going to be about for us in terms of these eclipses in those specific signs and therefore those houses within your own chart. Again, if you want to find out what that says for you in your sign, get to that link in the description box below and get your sun, moon and rising year ahead videos. So for September, you've got the Lovers card. More choices, right? More choices, more decisions to be made, moving ahead with things. And to clarify on that, you've got the Ace of Cups. So when it comes to love, relationships, partnerships. If you are single, that is a love connection, right? That is someone that absolutely makes your heart sing. After, you know, some of the challenges that you've had this year as well, this could be somebody that you kind of almost say to yourself like, wow, this is exactly what I needed at the moment. This person or this connection is almost like a salve or a balm for my heart. So I love that for you. If you're partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is a fresh start in the relationship. There's something here where you and your partner are either beginning again, or you're allowing the best of your relationship to come to the fore in some way. As we come into October, we have the last new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Libra on the 2nd of October. It's a pretty big deal, right? Because at this point, we're starting to really think about closing out that cycle. It's not exact, but we're starting to think about closing out that cycle. For this, you have the Strength card. So when it comes to your physical body, this is a month to really look after you, all right? When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this has to be paramount. You're obviously gathering a lot of strength. You're mustering a lot of strength here to do something, to move forward. You've got this with the 10 of Cups. So for some of you, this might just show up as you feel more in your body and more in control and aware of and aligned with your physical body than you have in a very long time. This could also be that you're going in for some big financial or material goal as it relates to a physical home or dwelling. And for a lot of you, there could be some news about the family. There's some shift or change, some dynamic shift or change that happens within the familial ties that sees you moving ahead in a really sort of really beautiful way, actually. You know, the Strength card is very much about the heart of hearts, and the 10 of Cups is about the heart that, you know, what makes a house a home, right? It's the people that you connect to in it. And this is very much that kind of energy. There's a big family vibe about this, but there's also you commanding a lot of strength to take something in a certain direction when it comes to that. In November, on November 25th, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, right the way through to December 16th. So, you know, third and final Mercury retrograde of the year. Technically, because, you know, even though we start the year with one, it ends on the 2nd. So not really a big deal. For this, you've got the Hanged Man. Slow, steady, take it easy. This is not a month to rush. And in fact, that message has come up a lot for November. It's not a month to push it. It's not a month to force it. This is a month of observation to just kind of see what's going on, what's taking place. With this, you have the 3 of Cups. So there is a blast from the past here, right? There is a reconnection of some sort that for a lot of you, you won't be sure about. It could be someone you dated, someone you worked with. There's someone that comes back into your life here and you're somewhat, yeah, I would say somewhat confused by it. There's almost a feeling of like, okay, yeah, you're back here, but why? Like, why am I connecting with you? Why am I hearing from you now? It's been months, it's been years, it's been weeks, it's been whatever the case might be. Now, the other thing with the 3 of Cups, because it represents reunions, it also represents births, it also represents gatherings of any kind. And the Hanged Man can be delays, and it can be, so this might be that there is a reunion or a get-together that is planned, but it's delayed in some way. It doesn't go ahead because of, you know, A, B, and C reasons. And then finally in December, so in December, Mars is going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo. So we're retreading the ground from August in some way, right? And it starts at like 5 or 6 degrees of Mars. So it will come right back into the sign of Cancer. Yeah, Mars retrograde. If you want to know how it speaks to your sign, you know what to do. For this, you've got the Sun card, right? The Sun, light, heat, blessings, joy, abundance. While everybody else is like, oh my gosh, there's a Mars retrograde, you're clearly living your best life and feeling it. And you've got this with the 2 of Wands. So a lot of you may very well be traveling in December, and a lot of you, it looks like you're making some kind of big financial move. Whatever's happening in October, it seems to come good or bring its fruits and blessings to light here in December. Now, your challenge months, Look, February is potentially a challenge month. April is, I can pretty much guarantee, a challenge month. July, challenge month. August, challenge month. November, you know, potentially neutral. All right. Your power months, I actually really like January. I really like March for you. I actually really like June for you as well. Love October for you. Really love December for you, right? So finishing the year really strong. And your key to the year is the Gate 47 and Mindset. And the message behind this card is, you know, you've seen the picture, right? On one side, you've got the bright and lovely, and the guy's looking out the window and he's really happy and smiling. Then you've got the other guy on the bus that's sitting and looking at the grey mountains, and it's like he's really in the dumps and he's miserable. The message behind this card is, it really is all a perspective of mind. How you see it is what's going to determine how it is. So you can take this reading and say, oh, it's going to be this hard, awful, horrible year. Or you can say, actually, this is life. There are pockets of goodness and I can do the most that I can with that. And in the months where things are a bit more challenging, I know that I need to peel back. And because this is about mindset and 7 is a number of the mind, you have a chance to really excel this year, providing you're willing to get out of your comfort zone. Now, if you haven't seen them, so if you know your personal year cycle, I've got a video playlist on YouTube, totally free. Go and check them out, because it's going to show you how to get the most out of your personal year vibration. Then you watch these for the month by month, so it'll give you the breakdown. What I've done with all of the work that I do, I try to create a cohesive system so that you can get the literal most out of your year. The more informed you are, if there's anyone that understands the saying, there is no knowledge that is not power, it's a life path 7. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic 2024. Check back month by month, every 3 months, every 4 months, every 6 months, as some of you do. I love reading you in the comments there. Thank you all so much for all of your support throughout 2023 and beyond. It really does mean a lot, and a really good 2024 for you. All right. Have a great year. Take care, and I'll see you soon.